Oh, we've got sound. We've got things. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to another live paint and chat. Hanging out, getting some, well, models painted, it turns out. Or at least you guys might. I'll do what I can. So just want to welcome everybody to the chat. Probably mute my phone while I'm at it. That'd be helpful. Whew. It's been a rush of a day. Literally, like, a minute before I started, it was like slurping down the rest of my dinner. So, doing great already. So just to say hi to everybody in the chat real quick. As I mentioned too, I've got the wrong chat up for some reason. What's going on there? Let's see if I can fix that. I am painting Kata-chan tonight. So, oh, there we go. Just needs to actually show the chat. That would be helpful. Hey, Chronic Toast, how are you doing? All right, let me see if I can catch everybody else here. Allurian, welcome. Hope everything's doing all right over there in Australia. Jan Scott, welcome. Shale, hello. Anzu, welcome. Todd, good to see you, man. And, oh, Paul, thank you so much for being here. He was having some internet issues, and I was getting worried. So, it is what it is, right? Man. Viper Taha, yay, thanks for being here. Cody, welcome. Koneman Studios, also good to see you. He also reminds everybody to hit the like button, which I super appreciate because I'm not as great at remembering that. Although I would hit the like button for myself. Oh, all right. So far it looks like everybody's talking about the weather. Chronic Toast. Mini Toast is sleeping next to me, trying to catch up on hobby stuff. It's been a crazy 12-hour day of work. Now time to chill, I hope. Gain X, welcome. And your friendly neighborhood Sturls, welcome. Chronic Toast, congratulations again on you and your new baby. So I hope everybody's doing all right over there. And hopefully we'll see you guys next year. And, all right, yes, let me get started on the painting part. So, let's see if I need to add some light. I probably do. Ta-da! Here's my Catachan man. Let's see if I can get him finished before the end of the night. I only have 4 left in total to really get my unit finished before working on, say, my heavy weapons team, any of the tanks, Valkyries, Vendettas. Anyway, Marauders, whatever. So, people-wise, like, we're getting really close to finishing this unit, which is really exciting. And I have the base coats on. It's not bad, but, you know, it's always nice when they're not gray. Get rid of the gray. Let's start there. So that's my goal tonight. John Takix. Hello from Massillon, Ohio. How's your eye? Much better, thank you. It was a flesh wound. It was fine. All right. Whew. I hope everybody's doing okay here in the middle of the week. It's been a bit chaotic, hectic, busy for me. It's one of those times in the year where I look back and I'm like, I haven't done all the things I want to do. And September is always a bit of a weird year because that's when the season changes. But you're going from summer to fall. And I know a lot of people don't really like the summer months because they think that the heat might be too much for them. And I used to have that opinion, but I've learned I really dislike being cold. And so, you know, September 1st, yesterday I get home and there's already like a crispness in the air. It feels like fall. And it really made me kind of melancholic, you know, just like, oh man, summer's just about over. Like, I want to go do stuff. And of course we couldn't do anything this summer, so basically summer robbed, and that's also frustrating, but hold on, let me take this, take it all in stride. Yes, Imperial Guard, Catachan all the way, baby. It's nice to have a pleasant voice in the background. Well, I hope you enjoy it. Dave Dog, campaign to get Catachans into brick and mortar shops. You know, it's all, what, Tempestus, Scions, and Cadian? I don't understand why Catachan isn't more popular. They're clearly the most, like, they have the strongest personality, in my view. Obviously, Valhallans are pretty awesome. The Stroyans, pretty cool. But man, Catachan, like, they're all so I don't know. Maybe I just like that they're so American. Chronic toast, except in the story the guard broke before the craft paint did. Hey man, craft paint gets you far. Thank you, Kahneman Studios. She has a new eye, bionic. Eventually, I have considered one of those, you know, not that I'm like eager to go get an eyeball surgery done, but those lens replacement ones where they fix your vision, but they also actually put like an artificial lens in, which is what they do when treating cataract patients, because my mom had to get checked out for cataracts and she's going to have that surgery done. But it seems like an interesting procedure because if you have a synthetic lens in there, you can never get cataracts. So that kind of seems cool. Bishop, hey, I'll still awake for another stream here. Oh no, Bishop, good to see you. Hope you're doing okay. Hello from Oklahoma. Oh, I used to live out there, Jim. Thank you for being in the chat. What do you think Crabbits play with? Oh, is this a joke? I don't know. What's the punchline? What would Crabbits play with? I don't know. Tell me. Unless you're actually talking about list building, in which case, I don't know, probably the child, because she's she runs all the beasts. And Crabbits they're so cheap you could put them in anything. Like, you can put them in as a points fill, and they'll be somewhat useful. Use them to block charge lanes, or be annoying. Anyone know why yellow paints are so transparent? What's up with the pigment? Do you think that's across the board, like all brands? Because I have a friend who happens to make paint over at Monument, and I could probably ask him that question for you, because yes, yellow and whites are the two most difficult colors to paint with, especially if you're using a brush, right? Because you get that streakiness, and if there's any transparency in there, that streakiness is so obvious, which is why you would, ideally, if you learn to do it, would airbrush with it, but it is what it is. But yeah, other than that, I'm assuming you just have difficulty getting the color right. I don't know. This pigment here, my craft paint, that's a pretty strong pigment. I don't think it has any transparency to it. So maybe your paint quality is just too high, David. Oh gosh, see, look at that, just all over me. You can't see my skin under that at all. Anyway, playing with paints. It's great. Jan Scott, I hate the cold. Amen, brother. Regular 105 heat index, 90% humidity where I am. Go away, summer. Ugh. Yeah, see, that's part of why I don't live in Oklahoma anymore, because the summers there were awful. And the spiders. This time of year, all of the enormous spiders hung from trees over sidewalks, where you could find sidewalks. And it was terrifying. I walked into many, many spiders' nests because I just was terrified. Can you paddleboard in Albuquerque? Where? We don't even have like a water park or a beach, or maybe there's a lake, but I don't think anybody's allowed on it right now. We're pretty shut down. Chicago's got that autumn feel too. I know, it's so weird. The army sent me to some insanely cold places. Yeah, and I can't speak to that. Like, yeah, that definitely is hard. So Miranda, you watch that great read out those guys off these guys, or are you painting over the gray hair? Well, yeah, I guess they do technically have gray hair, so they are, well, some of them are bald and some of them have do-rags. So I'm being saved the trouble of painting hair on at least 2 of these models. It's the opposite for us. For the first days of spring, and it was warm on the weekend. I do love the cold, though. Oh, yeah. Solar and random thing, because I've never been to Australia, but I'd watched Franny Fisher's Murder Mysteries. And there was, like, Christmas in July, because that's, I guess, when it was really winter. And then there's, like, because it seems like people sort of do Christmas twice. Is that really a thing, or is that just something the show is showing me? Elysian Drop Troopers. Yeah, I guess they're okay too. You want those to be in brick and mortar stores too? These game stores can only afford to buy so much stuff. probably because the Kata-chan kit's like 10,000 years old. Hey, we can bring it back. We can get some new sprues made. There's a lot of new action heroes that have come up in the last decade or so. We could just make some molds of them. You know, you have The Rock, you have Vin Diesel, you have Antonio Banderas. I know he's not new, but he was so good in The Expendables. Catachans are all Rambo and Hauser. Not all of them. I have a Vasquez model. She's not the big burly muscle thing. Everyone loves Predator after all. Oh, I missed some stuff. Okay, there we go. Yeah, my mom's gonna have cataract surgery next month. Well, good luck. Apparently it's not bad. I've watched the whole procedure. It's like a day. They do one eye, and then you come back a week later, and they do the other eye. So I'm like, as soon as I get back from Valhalla, basically, then my mom is gonna get scheduled for that, and I will take care of her and see her and make sure that she recovers and doesn't go blind. Hopefully, hope she doesn't go blind. Don't let them peel your eye. She'll have a bionic eye. See, and that's where I wonder where the technology is gonna be at that point. However, I am adamantly against the idea of any organic body part that would be permanently attached to me ever having a connection to the internet. That would be dangerous. Sign me up for full cybernetic prosthesis, Ghost in a Shell style. Including the memory loss? Hola, hi, ciao. Hi, Damien, welcome. Good luck with her eyes. Lady and Droptroopers don't seem to exist anymore because Forge World decided to delete my favorite regimen. Shall we? Sleeping kid in arm, giving wife much needed breather. Aww. That's good of you, Bishop. I hope she's doing alright. Monument paints are epic, especially their whites and yellows. Okay, so you've actually painted with them. Like I painted with, I painted part of my Bulgren with like a skin tone one. But I know that they make their own paints, and he knows an inordinate amount about paint, which I guess is helpful when you make them. And he could tell you all about the pigment density, I'm sure. Hey, Robert, thanks for being here, man. Shale, yellow paint. Mostly use the same pigment, undercoat in pink, and the yellow will show up much, much better. Oh, there you go. Undercoating in brown works well too. Yeah, so I guess if you have a complementary color. So brown if you want a more, dingy yellow? Would it be a more muted yellow with the pink being a more vibrant yellow? Is that how that would work? If there's a tiny dog hair on yellow, you will never be able to paint over it. Paul likes the cold. Whatever. You're in England. You don't know what nice weather looks like. Kahneman. Miranda, you like them because they're buff and they're in uniform. Alright, half uniform. Some uniform. I just like that they have so much moxie to them. I mean, yes, there's a lot to be said of like having the same like vein of macho personality, but I mean, I play Cater. I always want to play the big, chonky, tanky, rough and tumble things I can't do in real life, okay? Like, I can barely lift, like, 50 pounds. And so, you know, thinking of the Catachan, and they're just running around, like, punching predators in the face, that seems so amazing to me. So, I think I just enjoy the entertainment value of that fantasy of, like, yeah, just being that strong and, you know, grew up loving Xena and Buffy and all that, and there's like these inordinately strong women, so I think I just have this appeal, or I'm very attracted to that idea. Why I love fall and winter myself. You know, it's fine, it's just, fall is beautiful, it's one of my favorite seasons, it just means winter is coming, and I do not like winter, especially since I have a drafty house. I collected Catachans when I was a kid. Lizard Queen. Yes. Awesome. The cider's nice and cold. Have you had a chance to play Dust? Not lately. I haven't played Dust in months. In fact, the last time I played Dust was kind of right at the very beginning of the whole COVID thing. And Jay Alex, who's sometimes in the chat, he was my opponent there. And so we were actually getting, I think, weekly games in pretty much. and getting the hang of the rule set with the idea of doing a battle report. And then that didn't happen. So, no, I haven't been able to. Excuse me. That was a regular sneeze. Yeah, I've mostly been playing like video games, WoW, and painting with you guys. Like, that's the extent of the hobby I've been able to enjoy, which apparently has just been really nice because I've also disconnected a lot from, or, not really engaged a lot with most of the online community, which is nice, I guess, as everybody's tensions get up and people are more upset at the way life is right now. I think that there's been a lot of more vitriol online, so I'm just sort of quietly here painting my minis, talking about painting my minis, maybe getting around to painting my minis and hanging out with the people I really enjoy hanging out with, you guys, and playing WoW, and also hanging out with the people I enjoy in my guild. I'm missing an AQ20 match tonight, or not match, but dungeon, which my guild totally cleared AQ20 and AQ40 this week, first week, because we're awesome. Anyway, wow, a lot of wow. So no, my hobby side has been literally hobbying and painting and reading 9th edition rulebook, but I haven't played anything and I haven't engaged in like any of the online stuff to play there, so it is what it is. Ben White, I look forward to Kata-chan bat reps. I played a ton of them in 3rd edition. I think when I first started it was 5th edition. Yeah. And I had Sisters of Battle and didn't like Sweeping Advance at all. And then I didn't like Sisters of Battle anymore. And then I wanted to play with mechanical big things like tanks, because tanks are amazing. Why is the Adeptus Mechanicus augmentation? Where is the Adeptus Mechanicus augmentation when you need it? Well, they're off building it on Mars, man. I'm buying Elon Musk's neural brain link, which he did a demo for with his pigs. Ooh, that truly frightens me. I do not. The old lady part of me is just like, no, that can't be in my brain. Like, I haven't even seen the demo. It just freaks me out. Me, eyes up the Silesian Drop Trooper Army in boxes, bags on the shelf. Maybe for next year. Dude, I know. So many projects. The stuff, yeah. There's a lot of pre-production stuff happening this year, which I'm happy about. Like, actual progress happening in it, which is also making me really happy. So, 2021, man. Let's look forward to it. Hey, Twitter feed, you can never shut off scrolling down your vision all day. Welcome to the future. That is how you drive people crazy. Greetings, fellow gamer nerds. Hello, Thomas. Good to see you. Please, Craig or bust. So much tribalism over our Imperial Guard regiments. We're all on the same side, guys. Obviously, Catachan are the leaders and the best, Cadians got their, their cute, tragic story. But you guys are fine, too. It's fine. Don't be so harsh. Save the Carnifexes? No. We can definitely get away from any of that Tyranid nonsense. Co-feeders, Kador is the shiznit. Indeed. My big chunky guys. Do so love my Kador. I haven't even seen, my next mini crate should be arriving soon. I don't know what it is because I've stopped looking at them, so I just get a surprise every time because this is how I entertain myself anymore. And maybe it'll be a Kador model. I'd like another one. I do have another one I should totally paint. There is the leader with the little war dog puppy. Maybe I should find her for next week. That would be super fun. Miranda sent some of the cold weather down here in Florida. It's freaking hot. Yeah, it's just going to be inconsistent everywhere. It's just the way weather is, unfortunately. You could not live in Florida. Potentially. I think I live about as far north in Albuquerque as I'm going to live, because it still gets too cold here for me. We'll hit single-degree temperatures sometimes, and I don't mean Celsius. Thomas, working on Ursus the Chained for Riot Quest. I think they sent him to me. No painting tonight. I left the cover off my wet palette and it's all dried up. Oh no, I'm sorry. Harkovich or GTFO, the Iron Wolf. Harkovich is delightful. He's one of the few Kador and warcasters that was a newer warcaster they made that they didn't turn into a complete jerk. He's just, patriotic for the motherland, but isn't immoral, doesn't fight immorally, which, you know, someone like Strakov, where there's no rules. Someone like Iris, who, like I want to like him, but he's a bad person. It's really hard. Strakov the same way. But like Harkovich you can like, Vlad you can like, Sorsha you can like. Orsa's, you know, the Butcher is just the worst and should be removed from the entire IP. Zerkova's kind of interesting because she's so weird. And then you've got someone like the Old Witch who's just like a Tom Bombadil-ish character that, you know, she has some interest. Like, she looks fondly on Kador, but she's not so invested. Like, you know, again, she'll do work with the Grimkin and stuff because she's got, you know, bigger plans than just a nation. Never understood Dust Tactics. Is that the board game? Because Warfare was the freeform game, and then it was Tactics, and now it's all just Dust, I think. Thank you. Hail Sneezer. Well, I'm buying in the chat. Your husband play war games? No, he doesn't play games at all. Demons be gone. No more sneezing. Getting disconnected is nice, though. Really focus how you spend your time. The flip side is you miss so much. Well, that isn't necessarily a negative if you can sort of refigure the important things or the things you care about, because then you can kind of choose to engage back as you know, with maybe a better mindset of it, because I think it's a little too easy to get caught up in all of the day-to-day communities and maybe drama. And I'm really bad at that, so I just tend to wander off when that happens. How are the Space Hulk battle reports coming along? So I totally have one recorded. I just need to finish that. The script is done. I just need to actually do the recording. But yes, Mission 3 of Space Hulk is totally going to get edited and put out. And I thought it would happen sooner. I'll see if it can happen before Valhalla. Ghost in the Shell future is great, except for the brain hacking and the bombed cities. You know, Cyberpunk 2077. And I feel like that might be a deal breaker. Finished painting Finished painting 2 groups: the Peasant Levies, Footman plus Archer, Ranger in the back, Armantic Basilian Sisterhood. The men-at-arms behind the front lines are the Raging Heroes, Consecrated Sisters. Wow, you've been busy. You think tanks are frightening on the table? You should see them in real life. Nothing like 85 tons of moving at 55 miles an hour with the engine baffles on. You feel it before you hear it. Yeah, so I would, like, I'll watch the YouTube channels of, like, tanks doing stuff, or there's some place in Texas where you can go drive an old tank, and I don't think it's, like, an Abrams or anything. I want to say it's, like, a World War II, or maybe Vietnam-ish era. But, where you can drive a decommissioned tank around and drive it over, like, junked cars and stuff. That always seemed kind of fun. Shared pic under your Facebook announcement for today. Oh, okay. I'll go look at it. Do you think the Death Archon will work for Grimkin? Grimkin are getting a different Archon. They are getting one where they have captured the Menite Archon and defiled him. And so I don't think the Death Archon will end up working for Grimkin. I think it'll just be that one. And trying to think if any of the Hordes ones do. Like, I doubt the Dunian one would, but there is another one. I'm trying to remember what they all are now. I'm looking up your post, Mandragora. Oh my goodness. There's so many things. Looks really nice, but that picture is a little bit tiny. But either way, it looks like you've been very, very busy. So, nice work. You have officially painted more than I have this month. Who do the Kata-chans call when they're in trouble? Elysian drop troopers, like angels from the sky. Everybody has to have heroes. Whatever. I got back into 40k and now building Space Wolves, Sister Battle, and Raven Guard. Nice. Chem Dogs for the win. I'm actually not familiar with those. Who are the strange people that play Krieg Imperial Guard besides Peter Jackson? Does he really? Tyranids? Nonsense. The big issue I have with Catachans is that I now associate them with the phrase, I should like to pet this creature. What? What am I missing? Back in Michigan, we had high temperatures of minus 35 degrees Fahrenheit throughout February, often 400 inches of snow. Utah is much nicer. I got down to single digits twice last winter as a low. Yeah, even Utah seems too cold for me, but it is a really pretty area. Moving home is not exactly easy at the moment. It's fine. I'm just messing with Yancy. Hey, Dr. Plastic. I've split hobby game from hobby paint now. One to relax. It's a good choice, Paul. I think you'll be happier that way. I gave up on War Machine when they went all digital. You know, a lot of people did, and I'm trying to, I try to periodically pinpoint what it is. I'm actually going to start painting now. I'm just not going to catch up with the chat. But periodically wonder exactly what that effect is for people, because it's not like the cards didn't get changed out plenty often. And, you know, you could argue that having the digital medium was more convenient, and a lot of people did play with War Room, but it's like that as a requirement, or, you know, you can print the cards, but that is not interesting to people at all. And I wonder if it's just adding a layer of complication, because, like, at the same time, GW comes in, they're like, oh yeah, we have data sheets. They're not cards at all. Of all the models, and as a way of keeping track of them for the games. I mean, because Privateer was always way ahead on, like, having a digital format for list building, which I think was, I mean, War Room was great for list building and theory craft. But, just lost the appeal for people, it seems. Finishing up the Winter Guard Rifleman tonight, then getting started on a Jack. Got the Grolar / Kodiak. It's magnetized to be either. Nice. Savannah Aga is Baba Yaga. Yes, she is. So, while I say like a Tom Bombadil character, yes, obviously she's a Baba Yaga character, including, especially in her second iteration, where she's just riding around in her steam or her warjack as a house. It's amazing. All is dust, a very spoopy connection. Okay. We're still live streaming? Man, I've only been live streaming for like half an hour. Hi, everybody. Archon, Dark Archon, you must construct additional pylons. FYI, the M1 Abrams drives like a Cadillac. Yeah, it sort of was the penultimate tank, as far as I know. Like, nothing beat it at that point, because it was the fastest, it was the most high tech, it could shoot from what, a mile away. It's insane, like, stats to it. I would love to do tank paintball at some stage. That would be interesting. Primal, not working with Grimkin though. No, okay, there you go. Stop that, I've nearly finished playing through all of StarCraft 1 and 2. You know, I'm so sad Blizzard kind of biffed it on the re-release of Warcraft 3. Like, it just didn't work right, and you couldn't play the old version again once you got it, so I actually didn't end up buying it for that reason. Yeah, sorry, camera's so crap, not gonna fix it though. That money is going toward paints, Figmas, and more minis. Yes. Hey, Adeptus Ridiculous, good to see you, man. You can always put more clothes on. There's not enough clothes to keep me warm sometimes. And besides, it's just uncomfortable. Like, you ever walked around in like one of those Michelin jackets where you can't pick anything up? Good luck going to the bathroom. Everything's just awkward. You carry a purse and it's constantly falling off. It's just horribly awkward. And you've probably talked about this, but what started you in tabletop gaming? Progressed from PC or board games? Neither, actually. I mostly grew up playing video games, and then I just learned about tabletop games in my 20s and just thought it was neat. Just jumped right into it. Not really caring about the painting part, really just wanted to play games. And while I did play some board games as a kid, like, board games were not really like a big thing for me, so liked that. And it was around the same time I was also interested in tabletop RPGs, I should say. Because obviously I played video game RPGs a whole lot. So it just seemed super neat. And then I just got into it because I saw it in the game store. And, you know, I will say as a novice who doesn't know anything at the time, I've always felt misleading because you'd see like the box of models and the box looks all amazing and painted up and whatever. And you have like this small thought like, oh yeah, I just opened this up and it's what these things look like. And then you're like, what? I would put all this together myself? Feels like I'm being played as a sucker. And I really held that view for like a long old time. I hated painting my minis. Didn't want to do it at all. Like, I would pawn the job off on anyone else. And, you know, I was also bad at it. That didn't help. So, you know, I've come a long way. This is actually a lot more relaxing. I don't have to be quite as aggressive as I normally would be when I actually got to play games. So that's a short answer, I guess. Wasn't the move to digital happening the same time as all the other problems with Privateer? Well, Mark III was the move to digital, right? Because then the cards were going to go to phases and it was more of a living rule set. So Mark II already had a lot of problems with like skew bloat, which I guess Mark III probably has too, because, you know, they don't discontinue models and there's just a whole lot of models. Like Privateer makes a ton of models. And so I think that would, you know, it was kind of an issue for game stores. I mean, as we're joking about, like, oh, I wish they'd carry Kata-chan or Elysian Drop Troops or whatever. It's like, well, yeah, they're going to carry Katie and they're going to carry the most popular. And Jeremy, you can probably speak to this more because you've worked in a game store before. But I mean, if you're going to run a game store, you need to be carrying stuff that sells. And I think when you were buying Privateer stuff, it was really just hard to tell, other than starter boxes, what to even get people into. And so that would be difficult. I'm hoping they're doing a little bit better. We've got Warcaster out now, which people seem to be pretty excited about, as well as, you know, like the mini crate. More minis, right? But those are a lot of fun. So I think that's, you know, a good direction in a lot of ways, especially since they are all limited runs. So you're not clogging up game stores. It's more of a subscription-based it is a subscription-based thing, and you can still get your mini fix from it. Oh, sorry, this contact is totally fuzzing up. How irritating. Also, this is everything I've painted since I started paint and chat with you. Really? So kind of like an anniversary or up to now achievement. Major Crew, that's awesome. I didn't know that's everything since, so I've been doing, the paint chats for just over a year now, and, well, you've still painted more stuff than I have, I think. Here's a World War II fun fact. The 15-inch cannons on the battleships Missouri and Iowa could fire 27 miles. Oh my gosh. Bit of a perfect storm for killing a game, alas. Oh man, there's so much chatting here. Privateer has always done a good job of breaking new ideas forward and supporting them. Miranda, have you seen the Catachan-esque models out by Reptilian Overlords Minis? No, I've not. Tim Benzagino from Board of the Rings. Arma Hordes has fallen a bit on its face here in the UK, as this edition came out at the same sort of time as the exchange rate tanked, making it cost ridiculously more to get stuff. Oh, yeah, no kidding. Because it was only, a year later the 8th edition came out? I mean, the unwelcome, or was it the same year? It was really close. I made the unwelcome discovery that the FLGS on this side of town no longer has a Worm Hordes community. So once in-person gaming resumes, I'm going to have a 45-minute drive to be able to play. Now, they do have War Table, which is their digital format is a lot like Vassal for playing War Machine. You can play that for free with people for what it's worth, if that is attractive to you. I had the Dust Tactics miniature game at one time. Hard to decipher the rules. Fair enough. By the way, Miranda, are you following the Warhammer Horde Summer Rampage event? So many characters have died and the world is changing. That reminds me of Warhammer Fantasy Battle End Times. The idea scares me. Dude, do you know the premise for Warcaster? It's sort of like, oh yeah, the Infernals basically won, and so every wizard had to escape and flee Cain, which I personally consider a fiction of that fiction. No, I have not been keeping up with the Summer Rampage rules. I still have to finish Stormbreak, and I need to read the Hengehold Scrolls. And I am going to make sure I do that because I do want to be prepared for the Kickstarter for Iron Kingdom's Requiem, because I am all in on the IKRPG. All in. Which means I'm going to have to learn D&D 5th edition, but whatever. It's fine. Give or take 50. You're not alone in waiting to paint. Commission services exist exactly for that. I paint all my housemates' stuff for him. This is really nice. It's why, I was friends with Flo before all of this, mind you. But she's a really good painter, and I love, watching her work. And especially when she works on my stuff. Did you pawn off your coloring books to the other kids too? I would have been inclined to. I was always a big fan of delegation as a kid. It's funny because I'm actually terrible at it now. If somebody were to offer to edit my battle report, which I don't know why anyone would, where I'd be like, no, I do it my way. I'm just gonna do it that way. So there's some things that get really stuck to. Oh, we are painting flashlights and the guy that pulled them, and the guys that hold them. Nice. The aliens are behind everything. I've heard retailers say they had to drop War Machine entirely because the range was too big. Well, and that's part of it, right? And it didn't even matter if the range was large so much as if you had some way of knowing tiers or whatever of minis that people are most likely to buy. But when you have field allowance limitations, for example, and 40K does it too because of the data slate limitation, it can be hard to say carry a bunch of Cato rifle corps because you're going to buy one box of that and you're done. You're not going to go buy another box of rifle corps. Probably. You might. But, a warjack, most people just have one of any given warjack. Warcasters, you're definitely only going to have one of any given kind. So, going to lurk for a bit. Mini Toast is getting squiggly. Send Pop-Tarts. Maybe I will. Maybe I will just send you some Pop-Tarts. For me, some models I want epic, others I want, yeah, cool. It's all personal preference. I think it depends on the customer base. A large range for a smaller audience. Yep, it really is all about the community. So what happened in War Machine? Did they kill the setting? So, the Infernals have now come, which goes back to an old part of the War Machine lore. When you read the Iron Kingdom's early lore, there was this invading force. Humans gained the ability to have magic. That was sort of like a gift bestowed upon them divinely. And apparently, in order to gain that power, this was sort of done as a backdoor deal by deities who, specifically, I believe Thamar, who's one of the ascended kind of deities in the world of the Iron Kingdoms. She made a deal with these Infernals to give people magic. Then the cost of that would be 9 centuries later, the Infernals would come to reap basically all the souls of mankind. And so that's sort of happening right now. And I don't know exactly where the lore has gone because I haven't been super up on it, but I know the Infernals have come and They seem to be killing a bunch of main characters. I don't know if this is going to be like a big cleansing or what. So that's kind of the place it's in now. And then if you jump 1,000 years forward or whatever, then there's this new game that Privateer came out with this year via Kickstarter, Warcaster. And so that's where it's a whole different war game, but it's set in the same universe, set way in the far future. So if you think, Warhammer Fantasy Battle and 40K, sort of an analog that way, with a connected history. I just have personal issues with them sort of making the world go so bad. Like, I didn't like End Times either. So, I just don't like bad things happening all the time. And so I think I just have a personal vendetta or issue with it. Vengeful is the Summer Vengeful. Yeah, see, and I haven't read them, so. 6 scrolls are done. Some choices made. Bugged me. Mostly I worry they're splitting the community. Not good considering they didn't release new books for a year. I'm going full nerd in a few weeks. I'm ordering a hilt and electronics to wire up my own lightsaber prop replica. Oh, that is pretty nerdy. That sounds fun. Drop Zone is a great game. Never played it. Couldn't get over the scale. I mean, it's probably a brilliant game. It's just, my only issue. Well, only 30 minutes in, I finally got my paints out. My arthritis is really acting up. Oh, geez, Jeremy, I'm sorry. Just one step at a time. Big brushes, big strokes. Drop Zone 2nd edition did raise a few eyebrows, though. I have tons of cricks and now circle minis, but need to get more of them painted. Riot Quest has been occupying my painting hours lately. Well, and everybody seems to really like Riot Quest, which is awesome. Like, I should play it at some point. It seems fun. Riot Quest, it's sort of like this really easy to learn, fun game, right? So I really hope that ends up working out well and having the staying power. Alfonso. Oh, that's right, you ordered a shirt. I hope you enjoyed it. And of course, you're totally welcome. We've been talking a little bit about the history of Iron Kingdoms, and I've been somewhat opinionated about it, so fair warning. Dang straight, Master Gurglepox is next in my painting queue. Oh my gosh. Do you still play Malifaux? I haven't played Malifaux since 2nd edition, and 3rd edition's been out for a year at least. So no, I haven't. I still have my armies, because Lord knows I don't ever sell anything or give it away. But I hear they got rid of, what is it, Lilith? Is she gone, or was it just Nakima? There's a few models they really did sort of do away with that might affect me in my little never-born legion. But, no, I haven't touched that game in quite some time. Are you still playing it? Is it, because it's MK, is it MK3? Is that what they call it? No, my time has been occupied painting and playing WoW, planning Valhalla, and remembering to go to work every day, which isn't as easy as I, sort of assumed it would be. Oh my gosh, I have all this fuzz in my contact here, and it's making it hard to see, so I literally just painted this horrible blob all over everything. So, he's just, bleh, bleh. That's not working at all. I used to run a lightsaber performance combat group. Tons of fun. What? Miranda, I think you would like the backstory for Drop Zone / Drop Fleet. It's well thought out. Maybe. First rule of Malifaux is never trust a single child alone in Malifaux. That's a good point. I've never tried it, but I know you're into it. Yeah, it was pretty fun. Well, so Barry was super into it, and so I was like, well, I want to play with my friends, and see what the game was about. And I had some issues with Mark II, whatever, the 2nd edition of Malifaux. Especially when you come from something like a War Machine background, where the rules are, quite frankly, just exceptionally well written. I mean, again, it's almost like a lawyer wrote them, right? Which turns off some people, but at the same time, it's just clear, at least in the core rules. You're like, nope, this means this. This is always this. You never have to worry about somebody winning an argument based on just having the louder personality as far as any sort of vagaries in the rules. And Malifaux, second edition, had a lot of vagaries in the rules, especially around the idea of terrain. It drove me nuts. I could not get past that. Like, ended up having an hour and a half argument with a player over, like, the setting of the terrain. And their argument kept being like, well, it can just be whatever you want. And I'm like, no, it can't be whatever you want. It needs to have rules. Just, it was a big thing. I was being a brat about it too, but it's just a style of role writing that I was not willing to, deal with. So, Malifaux, it was a little love-hate. I really liked their models, though. I liked the idea of their lore, it was sort of kind of twisted in a Lovecraftian kind of way, and I don't know, you just it had a lot of moxie to it. The gremlins were fun. The Neverborn were interesting. And that ended up being about it for me. Then I just ran out of time, because, gosh, at that time, I think I was still working 2 jobs when I was playing Malifaux, which is not super easy to squeeze in, like, games at the game store with that. However, it is helpful to know multiple games whenever you are around varying different people who just, may play one game or another, which is why I do enjoy Valhalla. I'm anxiously waiting for the re-release of Firestorm Armada. Ooh. Well, you've also been super into Ethereum? Is that what it's called? And I don't know if I'm remembering. I'm used to reading it. I never say it. I miss you and Joey. I remember she wanted to get the 2 of you to cosplay the Sylvan Elf sisters that ride a dragon. Aww. I need to reach out to her. Robert, you were talking about that. I still haven't, talked to her. I see her on Instagram and just I like your post. I'm really terrible at reaching out, so I should just message her and be like, hey, I'm glad you're alive. I'm doing well. She's blonde now. It's cute. Malifaux is 50% Wild West, 50% Weird West, 75% steampunk, and 150% horror. Yeah, that logically is actually pretty sensible for Malifaux. Wild West Exodus? I did end up doing a demo of that game, which is kind of interesting. It felt sort of similar. Can't help but think you'll be there a while with Firestorm lasts. Malifaux had some of the best fluff I've seen in a miniature game, and the models were really gorgeous. I remember when 10 Thunders came out and people were pissed because the models were so fiddly and breakable, and I think they've improved that process, but they were one of the first to really delve into digital 3D artists for getting their miniatures made, and so they ended up having these really skinny miniatures. And I think Infinity ends up doing that too, but I don't know their process as well. So yeah. What are they doing? What color boots did I give you? Yeah, black boots. Easy enough. Do you have paint on your face yet? Ugh. This is trickier than I anticipated. Plus, we have infernals like Travis to clarify rules questions. Well, yeah, not everybody has Travis available at any given time. I guess you do. Yes. I feel like Malifaux. I liked the Malifaux background, but I think that Weird mishandled the 2nd edition release. My 2 crews weren't supported until late in the release. New edition looks good though. And they're a smaller company, so I do wonder if it's just certain production problems that keep you there. And yeah, it definitely sucks for the players, but I would give them a little bit more leeway on that. Especially if they got there and things are good now, and you haven't had to replace all of your minis, then that's fine. It's hard to be angry if they're trying, I'm totally assuming that they were trying, but why not? Yes, Ethereum. Still have about 40 models left to paint. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my god, Mei Feng was such a fiddly model. Yep. Blue Hellraiser Marines. Yes. Trying to assemble some of those Malifaux models were true sanity check. I spent 20 minutes with a tiny shoulder strap constantly slipping out of tweezers. Oh, see, that's where I'd be like, hey, Flo, I've got this model for you. I'll give you some money. Have you seen the Forge World Lion model? I'm tempted to paint some Dark Angels because it's a beast. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, that's a thought. You're gonna give Infinity N4 a bash when that's out? Here's the thing about Infinity. The company seems super nice. The player base is fantastic. Because we have one of the biggest tournaments in the world take place right here in Albuquerque, which sadly got canceled this year, but I'm sure they will resume next year. Amazing community, super friendly people, amazing terrain tables. People have brought some gorgeous armies, and like, I love the idea of it so much. Like, there are all these people that I want to hang out with. And then I get to the list building of Infinity, and I'm like, you have to do it online. It's too granular for me, where you're building like, oh, does this guy have a handgun? Does this guy have a sword? Is he a stealth suit? Or I don't know, whatever all the options are, because I don't know what all them are. And so it just put me off it. So probably not. Even though like Carlos is a super nice guy, and like the company has been nothing but wonderful, and they totally play and push their stay game for it. But man, that miniature game, I can't quite get into it. I don't know. 3 words as far as insanity goes. Jan Lowe's beard. Oh dear. I really want to kit bash convert some CSM to make a heavy metal band diorama. Okay, so not to bring back the way back conversation, but essentially War Machines and the end times to establish Warcaster. So what's going to happen to the industrial fantasy of War Machine? Well, I believe that's where they are going. Well, I think the game will continue, and I assume it will just continue as War Machine. But it's also going to be the point in which they're going to reboot or continue on the Iron Kingdoms RPG, which is the part I'm excited about. So, yeah. My local store just put a bunch of Series 2 Malifaux models out on clearance, so I bought way too much. Malifaux looks so pretty. It is pretty. They've got a fun aesthetic going on. Their passion is God tier from the Steamforged games. Ooh, fancy. From what we're seeing with the IKRPG release, the Kingdoms fight of the Infernals and get back to it afterwards. Some more Cicatrix, Maledictum than End Times, really. From my understanding of it in the IKRPG, they do make the Infernals go away. Therefore, it's the real lore, in my mind. Really, Warcaster is the fan fiction. Fan fiction from the people who make it. Late to the party, but what are we painting tonight? We are painting a Catachan man. Does what every Catachan can. So many jokes to be made with the word Catachan. The models and setting is cool, and using the deck of cards as a random number generator was uber cool. Just doesn't have the community as the biggins. It's really hard to keep energy up for like a lot of major miniature games, I guess, is just the bottom line. Hi, Miranda. Good night, Miranda. Hi, Brian. Good to see you. Hope you're doing all right. See you on Instagram sometimes. Take care. Stay safe. They should have the battlefield level of gameplay for Infinity. Yes. I wonder if they would do well to have like a video game, right? Just any old thing, like a fighter game or some little RTS or whatever. Like, it's only ever done favors for GW. Like, crazy good favors for GW. So, my thought is that that would be a great thing. And yes, Privateer did do that a while back, and I sure hope they do it again, because that would be really good for them. To make just, maybe a slightly different game. War Machine Oblivion is the Infernals coming to collect their promised 70% of human souls. There you go. My latest painting project is the second Lord of Change. Ew, fancy. They did make a less complicated version of Infinity with N4 called Code 1. Maybe that would solve some of those problems? Maybe? At that point, it's probably just like, who do you play with? Me, I have some Blood Angel Sanguinary Guard I'm near complete with. Hey, good job, Kristen. Cliff Malifaux has the Crossroads 7, basically a band with each member representing one of the 7 deadly sins. Yeah, actually my friend Flo painted that, and she did little diorama pieces on the tiny little bases representing each of their sins. Like, it was pretty amazing. And then all the miniatures got stolen because they're sitting in a case, and it looks like a camera case, so somebody broke into her friend's car, stole them, and they were never found again. They're awesome models, fun to paint. Good night to all. Good night. Listen to Miranda. May she get it right. Well, we'll see. We'll see if I can get it right. Oh, it's contact. All right. I can do what? We need to paint your arm. You've got, I think I made that metal, and your boots are black, and let's see if I can get a face on you. I've got half an hour. I've totally got enough time to do this. Surely I won't be that distracted this whole time. Yeah, other than the Noise Marine guitar, there are plenty of models that I'm not sure what to give them. Iron Warrior drummer or synth keyboard. Engineer Jeff, oh my gosh, hey Jeff! Hero Gamer Girl, Van Hammer, and I just wanted to pop in and say hi. Hope to see you at Adepticon if they have it next year. Oh my gosh, I hope they have it next year. I can't wait to see all my friends again. It's been lonely, man. I mean, it's been lonely, and then also I lose track of time, so, like, I don't know what day it is. It's been a very strange reality. I wonder if this is what it's like for people in prison. Anywho, it's really good seeing you. I definitely hope to see you at Adepticon. There's going to be so much reunion hugging at Adepticon. It's going to be crazy. Wargamer Girl, it could be a fight for all other genre games to act and feel like 40K with Infinity, Dust, including War Machine, etc. Could be a fight for all other game genres. Well, I think there's room for all of them. I mean, I'm not sure if that's exactly what you're saying. Like, 40K doesn't need to be the only game. It's just a type of game, and it's massively popular because it's the one everybody knows about. And they know about it because it has, like, a bajillion video games. And now TV, but, you know, that kind of came later. And, you know, strong aesthetic, which War Machine has, which Malifaux has, which Dust has. Bolt Action too, it's a little bit more in the historical range, so don't get mad at me, Chronic Toast. Whereas Dust is more like fantasy, historical fantasy. So, a few differences there. But yeah, I mean, you really can sort of pick what you like there. It's just a matter of kind of getting people to even know the game exists. Which is sort of always the trick, isn't it? You know, you go to Adepticon, you see a lot of people who have booths for brand new games they're trying to launch, and Kickstarter's full of these sorts of new games. And that's why a lot of people do them as board games, because, you know, if you have everything, you know, compartmentalized into that setup, then you can kind of do expansions on it. Zombicide has only ever done well for that. But, yeah, it's hard to get a miniature game out there, and so, you know, Malifaux is known about, War Machine is known about, like, that's value right there. Just gotta push a little more. In Exalted, we did an Abyssal party that was a metal band on a quest to play the riff that would send creation into the void. Well, that's kind of fun. Kristen Coudsey, I really learned a bunch about painting white wings while painting my Sanguinary Guard. Oh, no doubt. Hi, Mr. Pilak. I would go to Adepticon in a freaking bubble if that's what it took. Oh my gosh, it's hard to hug people in a bubble. Although, it might be worth it. Like, you really do realize how much humans are social creatures as far as, you know, even when most people are like, yeah, you know, I'm fine, I'm an introvert. It's like, yeah. We're not that introverted. Like, some interaction really is nice. Just because, you know, people have different desires for how much they want, but 0 is not really good for anyone. Mandragora, I'm off. Have a good night. Thank you so much for being here. I'm wearing my Adepticon 2020 shirt right now. Trust me, all of us Chicagoans are so ready for all of our out-of-town friends to come here and drink and play games. I got my 2020 Adepticon shirt too. I ended up getting the swag bag sent to me. So I need to modify the shirt. I'm going to turn it into a V-neck. But yeah, it's a nice shirt. Like, super comfortable to wear around the convention after washing it. The Heresy 9, the name of the band. First hit single would be I Am a Ferret. Why is this a running joke, guys? It's actually what I'm working on. All that's left, as a matter of fact. Yes, you're right. Have you heard of Gloomhaven? Check it out. Yes. So my friend Flo recently did have to go out of town. And while she was out, she ended up picking up a copy of Gloomhaven. She's really wanting me to try it out and play it, and it does look super fun. So, yes. There's so many different, like, modules, I guess, to play. So it looks like it'll keep us busy. So, yes. Ooh, maybe that'd be really fun for, like, a Halloween episode. I wonder if I could do that live. Conflict 47 is the weird war version of bolt action. Great place to use some dust minis. That's a good point, Stuart. That's right. Oh, I gotta make dinner now. Well, thanks for popping by, Jeremy. Good seeing you. I hope you feel a little bit better. Iron Warriors are the Siege Masters, so I would say the basest. Nice. Alright. He's got skin tone on, for the record, and he's about to have finished boots. So theoretically, progress on this model is happening. Yeah. Trying to think of when I can, you know, I'm gonna be on a short little trip down in the state over the weekend. Maybe I can catch up on some of my reading there for what's going on in the Iron Kingdom's world. I can do like a rant about it. No, maybe it'll be positive. I'm really curious to see what all has happened. It's just been tough to catch up on all that stuff. Alright. There's that, there's that. The final track would end and there would be 7 minutes of silence, and then the hidden track would kick off. Papa Nurgle loves me. Yes. That would work. I was thinking Night Lord's basis because that would be so moody. I donated my Adepticon money, but I did get the Jackie Daytona t-shirt, so I'm content. Fair enough. I donated my ticket for next year, like to help fund next year, but I did want my swag because I really wanted my pint glass and my shirt, which I think is all I ordered anyway. Corn Berserker for the drummer. Plague for the Plague God. Oh my gosh, guys. Only one that could handle a triple bass pedal, or a Plague Marine with an extra leg. Gifts of Chaos, man. Are you sure you won't invoke that after this year? Absolutely, Corn Berserker for the drummer. Lucius the Eternal on the skin flute. Oh god. Yes, you're right. You have to have it for Halloween, Gloomhaven. Gotta. I have a video. It's the only game I never bought or played. Thousand Sun Sorcerer as lead vocalist. Wow, you're getting the whole proper band together now. England lockdown released-ish this week. I can take Kill Team to Jimmy now. Okay, yay! I think that's me done. Spawn is waking up. I don't know, Bishop. That's all your fault, man. Remember. Anyway, have a good night. I appreciate you coming by. It's good to see you. Tell Megan I said hi. Meanwhile, what to paint on him next? I did say he'd have a face, but he also needs to have metal on his body because he's carrying a pack and he has a gun and he's got what I have decided are metal bracelets. It's actually one of the frustrating things too whenever I was first painting, because you're like, I want it to look like the box art. You sort of have to like find your little wins in your miniature, because there actually is something really nice about the miniature you make, even though it doesn't look like, you know, Duncan Rhodes painted it or anything, but it does look like it's yours, and it is painted. And man, there's such a huge difference between painted and not. And I sure hope that all the folks who've gotten into the new Warcaster game will also be fans of painting those bad boys, because otherwise you're not going to know what you're looking at. Black Legion, Chump on the rhythm guitar. Alpha Legion are all the roadies and tech folks. My goodness. See, we'll have to do some fun with the rest of the stream. Have a good one, man. I think Thousand Sun keyboardists. I think Ray Manzarek from The Doors, but with Zangor head. Wow, guys, you've really gotten nuts on this. Night Lord lead singer. Keyboard, I was thinking vocals because then you can weave spells into the lyrics. I'm thinking Plague Marine playing the keyboard. But every key squeezes a nurgling. How many points of IG are you bringing to Valhalla? All of them? I don't know. I probably won't have my Baneblade put together because I've still been way too much of a chicken to put that together. It just sits in a box. Let's see here. So I've got these guys. Got a heavy weapons team. I have my Tempesta Scions. Honestly, I might stick to like 500 point games so I can get a bunch of them in. I'm pretty sure I can get 1,000 points of stuff. That's fine. But I don't know that I'll be going way above that. Kind of like the idea of just playing some shorter games, you know? Seeing how that rolls. What about you? What are you thinking of bringing? You planning to bring your Warcaster stuff by chance? Because I know you kind of went in heavy on it, if I recall. Bare metal and plastic minis make my soul cry. It's okay. It's okay. We're getting there, Thomas. So, if they're abandoned that way, I would agree. But, you know, just got them. It's fine. I mean, there were many, many jokes I, made about types of players, let's say, who wouldn't paint their stuff for any reason at all. And it's confusing to me because, if you're going to play a miniature game, the miniatures are the coolest part to me. And yeah, people get into the game mechanics, which is fine. Like, game mechanics are great. But at the same time, game mechanics can be, better done in, say, a video game. You don't get all the impreciseness of human, movement or remembering a rule or not. And so I don't understand why, if you're going to be into the idea of playing a miniature game because you like it so much, that you would pointedly not paint your miniatures. Like, even as a point of pride, which I have seen. It's very confusing. And, to each his own, because at the end of the day, I kind of don't care, but it does confuse me, I guess. It just is like a strange choice. That's all. And yes, there's people who don't have time and there's reasons for it, but those people would like to have their minis painted. I mean the people who are like, no, I specifically don't. I'm like, okay, man, whatever. Don't know who you're rebelling against there, but good on you. Carry on. Practice on a different tank. I could. I guess I could do that. Lehman Russ or Chimeras. So I'm borrowing a bunch of Lehman Russes and Chimeras, and they're already painted, and I'm not going to paint over those. So I'd have to buy new stuff. Which, yes, I guess I could do. But, I don't know. We'll see. I've got plenty to paint right now, so we'll see. I think you hit on something there. Maybe the IW, our full brass section, they keep trying to make it a ska band instead of a metal band. Oh my gosh. Yes, there are far too many War Machine players filling armies of unpainted. Sad. It is sad. Jericho would be his name. Kurz versus Korax in the goth emo off of 30k. No Iron Warriors. One of the more emo traders. I just bought way more than I had time to paint. Oh well, the problem with finding a good deal. Hey man, like, you get to keep them, like, they'll be there next week. It's not like miniatures expire. Unless you play Infinity. So, it's fine. Alright, let's get these sacks painted brown. Where is my nutmeg color? Haha, there we go. Ta-da! I actually had a friend say the board game we were playing was better with painted minis. Man, like Space Hulk with all of my painted stuff. It is so pretty. It's some of my favorite battle reports, actually, like aesthetically speaking, because you can get the board to look just right, and you get these perfect angles, and it's on like black velvet to mimic the darkness of space, and then these beautifully painted minis, which don't have to keep changing out with new models because they're set. Oh, so pretty. So, I agree. You know, it's like some other element to admire while you're maybe waiting for your turn or something like that. So yeah, I could see it bringing just joy. I mean, aesthetics are a form of joy. For being real about it. Night Lords versus Raven Guard for the Emo Championship. Really, guys. I could bring my Warcaster stuff, but I only have Marcher World, so I couldn't demo anything, and I wouldn't have time to prime them before then, so they would just be bare metal. Well, I mean, it's a new game, so I'm sure that's more forgivable, but whatever you're comfortable with, Jeremy. Okay, Winter Guard are done, except for the snow shrubs on the bases. And my glue is stopping up. It's a sign, Shale. Give yourself a break. It's okay. I've done unpainted once in Kill Team. I asked, it was okay. But it was my friend John who loves a fight. No, I've many a times painted, you know, like I've gotten a new model and just haven't had time to paint it, like brand new or whatever. You know, you want to play with it. And, you know, there's also, like, that argument of a model earning its paint job by maybe, like, doing decent work. Because that's somehow not in your hands. But, that part's fine. You can have a few unpainted minis. It really is just intent, in my view. It's like, are you making a point to, you know, rub in my face that you're not interested in painting minis and you think this is stupid? Or are you just here having a good game and you'll get around to this when you can in good faith? Like, it's really my only take on it. I don't think I'm, you know, taking an elitist stand or anything like that, 'cause Lord knows I've had plenty of unpainted minis, but the intent was always to get them painted. And I think if that's earnest, then it's fine. Okay, we've got 15 minutes. Maybe I can get this here. Minis don't expire. Sad 40k classic noises. But they generally don't. I mean, yes, there are some exceptions. Iron Warriors versus Night Lords for the Edgelord Championship. Hey everyone, I just closed class early and wanted to jump on and say hi. I still exist. Hope you're happy. Hey Jay, hope you're able to get some like peacetime in between all of that craziness. It's consistency, not discipline. Well, in some parts. Are to better yourself and push the envelope of mediocrity. Hey, I'll take mediocre as long as it's painted. I don't care. We all have different standards. I'll take it. Techlist would like a word. I do like the old elves. Did I miss anything these last couple of months? Probably not. I have a few more minis mostly painted that need some sort of finishing work. What was it? Yeah, I think I finished my the rocking horse, the Grimkin Warhorse. Oof. Literally had to sit for 3 hours one Sunday just finishing that model after I'd been working on it on stream. It's like the actual finishing of the model is the hardest part for me, where I have to focus and, oh, get this detail, get this detail, get this detail. Otherwise, you'd mind as well play with colored stones instead. It's better than that. Obviously, you can enjoy like the beautiful sculpts that people make. There is no peace, only war. Just too many jobs, whichever. I'm trying to decide what I want to paint while I'm in El Paso for the next month. My Tau or my Forge Fathers from Mantic. Well, I can tell you right now, everyone, just about everybody at Valhalla is playing 40k. So if you have 40k to bring and you want to play 40k, you might paint your Tau. But there's always room for variety. 15 minutes, time to go ludicrous speed. Yeah, I need to get his face on. I need to put on his face. I like the immersion of having everything painted, including a nice board or terrain, but I don't harass my opponents about painting their stuff. No. I do give crap to my friends if they've deserved it. But yeah, generally, like, obviously nothing ill-intentioned or mean-spirited. You gotta be careful. People get surprisingly defensive about that stuff. Like you're poking fun at their, you know, their identity or something. Three hours on a rocking horse, my goodness, that's why my neck runs are still prime black, not even dry brushed. I am jealous of any progress right now. And I bet Jen's staying busy too. Why not both? I'm sure Jeremy speaks about as much Spanish as I do. Alright, so I need to finish. I need to reapply some Castellan green because I was super sloppy in my application of this Kislev flesh. And the flesh still needs to be reapplied on the shirt area. His arm slipped. He's actually like a little bit maladjusted because you'll see that his... It actually focuses. Has to now. Come on. There we go. So you can see like his arm shoulder didn't really like meet perfectly. Wow. Didn't quite perfectly go on the side. It slipped a bit. So he's a little awkward. I only have a few hours each night to paint, so I probably won't get as much paint as I expect. That's fair. Alright, what am I doing? So he needs eyeballs. We need white. We need to make the eyeball first. The whites of your eye. And with that, I use my lovely non-dried out bleached sand. We've gone plaid. Spaceballs was great. Alright, my teeny tiny brush, also from Monument, by the way, so... Thank you, Jason. I can't wait to show you, like, the condition that I still have these in after you gave these to me last Valhalla. I'm sure he'll be like, why don't you take care of your stuff? But, you know, these things have held up really well, like, despite me. And so I've got to give him props, like, good quality brushes here. Ooh. Interesting. His sculpt has, raised eyeballs. I will say the Kata-chan models, man, they've got a lot of different sculpts to them, which I rather appreciate. Oof. Way too much white on there. Get that off. Sometimes the brush is too small to reabsorb the water when you get too much water on there. See your Schwarz is bigger smart. Oh no, Brooks. Miranda, I love your videos. You're really polished, well-made videos. I'm a big fan of your work. Well, thank you, babe. Appreciate that. More to come. It's been a bit slow going, I get that. It is what it is. But stuff will come out more. More stuff soon-ish. Okay, so we've got eyeballs. Does he look creepy? He does look a little possessed, doesn't he? So now, the part where you draw some, well, I do. My technique is to draw just straight lines down, and then I sort of encase his eyes in, it'll probably be brown. There we go. Now to bow out and work on some terrain. Oaf Widerschen. Well, Cliff, I appreciate you hanging out. Yeah, we're close to done anyway. Are you getting any painting done? Some. This guy he's started off at this level, and now he's at this level. So, I mean, that is progress, right? But I did say you'd have eyeballs, so I need to get eyeballs on. See, there's an upside and a downside to every Schwartz. That's such a ridiculous movie. You can't have Mel Brooks making movies like these days, right? Like, it's just, what an era. Okay. So, I'm going to take the black paint, ever so slightly dip it, and try to draw some even, well, let's mark that a bit, even lines. Kinda looks like he has lizard eyes to begin with, but that's fine. And you don't ever want to go too heavy with it, because if you start, feeling like you need to add more, then you can get really, really ugly and bad. So let's show you that little step there. So, snake eyes. Come on, you got it. Why does this thing hate me so much? Alright, so that's what he's got so far. And then we put some frames around those beautiful eyes of his, which I will do with nutmeg, because we want it to be sort of a complementary color to his skin and not too contrasty, because otherwise he'll look like he's wearing eyeliner, and that could be kind of weird. The kids love this one. Give him some eye black, toughen him up. Are those dust models? No, these are Kata-chan models from 40K. Progress, can confirm, I've seen it. Schwartz the sequel, The Search for More Money. Yeah, that never ended up happening, and he made an announcement about that not that long ago about it too. You mean black eyes? No. Black eyeballs. Black pupils. Alright. Now for the tricksy part. So he's already got a bit of a brow shaped into him, which I will lean into with this brown. And, less is more in a lot of cases. Much harder to clean up a mess when you've got too much on there. Or somehow a piece of fur. I don't know what happened there. Get my brown out again. What happened to 7? Just kidding. Wow. Gosh, I couldn't even imagine Bill Pullman coming back for another Spaceballs. Like, so much time has passed, and obviously we can't have someone like John Candy again. No, I think the time has passed for any sort of sequel to Spaceballs. Alright, so I'm sort of framing his eyes from above by giving him eyebrows. He has a little bit more personality going on. Really wants to see the texture of my hand. So bad. Sorry, I can't get more light in there, guys. Anyway, so that's what I have here. And then the last step is I'm going to take my skin tone again, what I used for his face, and use that to put underneath the eyes and clean up the rest of the lines so that, you know, it'll make him a little bit, it'll make his eyes a little bit smaller and more realistic and, you know, make it better. Man, we barely talked about movies. I'm really missing the ball here on the Spaceballs talk. I don't have a good way of painting this like on lens. I can maybe try. See if maybe that does something. Alright. Well, I feel like his eyes are still too big. I'm gonna shrink them a little bit more. Not happy with that status. Sorry, you're gonna see the top of my head for a second. There we go. That's better. So, wow, everybody here has seen Spaceballs. Alright, that is more of the finished eye. Obviously, he needs like a wash and all the other stuff, but that is his eye kind of shrunken in a little bit. And you know, on a miniature, you kind of have to caricaturize their faces a little bit. And so his eyes do still look a little big here. But it is what it is. It's kind of so crazy. It looks so different to my eyeballs than the camera. But anyway, that's basically him. And you could even shrink it in a little bit more if you wanted smaller eyes. He just has kind of large eyes on the model, though. So I'm going to leave it. That guy looks either like Kurtz from Apocalypse Now or Maggot from Dirty Dozen. Excellent. Hey, any suggestion on painting dark skin like African American dark? I have a model who's supposed to be Tina Turner from Mad Max, and I want to paint her this weekend. So, I have a couple of miniatures like that. I don't remember what I did. So, oh, paint chips everywhere. Teehee. So I have sort of a lighter dark brown, which was basically just this one burnt umber color. And so I just used that color for his skin, and he'll need a bit of highlighting because he's not fully done yet. Got his eyes in there. You can sort of see there's not enough light on him, unfortunately, and I got his mustache pointed in there. But what I've also done is I wanted like really dark, because this guy, he reminded me of the guy with the minigun from Predator, and so I really wanted to make him. And so this is actually that same burnt umber mixed with some black, and so that way you got a really dark skin tone. It's just you'll want to make sure that you know you have some sort of contrasting color, or if you can highlight it just so you can sort of see some details, because you'll lose more detail obviously in a darker with a darker shade. But he looks really cool. One of the problems that made me a little bit sad, he's got this really cool tribal tattoo that's just super hard to see. That flow painted on him. But I think he's great. So that's how I did it. And admittedly, I know, I use dirty old craft paint that you are above. But if your paint will mix, then I think that's all you need. Wow. I like it. It's a Kata-chan flaw. That's why we see so well in the jungle. Huge eyes for improved vision in the darkness. It's all part of the plan. That's right. Vallejo Dark Flesh gives a good base, highlight with a mix of dark flesh and something like bubonic brown. There you go. Dr. Faust Paint Clinic video on painting dark skin tones. Okay, there you go. There's even like a whole bunch of guides. Good night, you heathens. Hope you dream of Heresy 9. I am Alfaris. Wow, guys. I have a base coat done with Blood Reaver Flesh. Wash the skin with Druchii Violet. Reapply Bone Reaver Flesh. Highlight with the Night Quester Flesh. That's a lot of steps, but Strep probably knows what Strep's talking about. Jesse Ventura was the minigun guy. I'm assuming you mean the guy who used the minigun later. Yes, and in my opinion, he's the minigun guy, but you're right. It's okay, I'm just an attention seeker. Alright, well, on that note, good night, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. It's really good seeing you, and I'll see you in another week or so, and we'll get these Catachan finished up. We're in the home stretch for Valhalla, and fall is coming upon us, and then we're going to be talking about the holidays, and then it's going to be the new year, and we'll all be happy that it's 2021. So, I'll see you guys next time. You guys have a great night.